Hello, everyone. My name is Karina Whitaker-Lewis. I serve as your Director of Religious Education. My pronouns are she, her, and the piano music you just heard is your signal to settle into your seats and prepare for the start of our worship service. Before we begin, I have a couple of quick announcements. Please be sure to get a Sunday handout. There are many more things listed in here than I can tell you about right now. I do want to mention that we will be having a potluck lunch after service next week, so check the messenger for details about that. There's some instructions on how to participate in the potluck. And then at the end of the month, now that it is October 1st, it's a 5-Sunday month, and so the 5th Sunday is always a party, and we'll be having a little Halloween fun here on Sunday instead of service on the 29th, so I hope you can come for that. All right, we will now get started. Good morning and welcome to San Gabriel Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or watching from home, so glad you all are here. San Gabriel is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, where there are over 1,000 congregations in the United States. All of us together are working for a just, peaceful, and sustainable world. Sustaining each other here in community is the first step down the long road of that important work. If you would like to know more about us and learn about upcoming events, please fill out a visitor's card that you can find in the seat back pocket in front of you to sign up for our newsletter. Please know that whoever you are, wherever you are from, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We are going to greet this day in song. Our opening hymn is We Are, which is in the Teal hymnal number 1051, but as always, the lyrics will also be projected, and I believe Bill is going to help lead us in this song. All right, and you can stay seated if you like. No need to look along too. Yeah.
Okay.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born,
As we light our chalice, we create sacred space together. I call you into this time of connection within, among, and beyond with the words of Reverend Katie Romano Griffin. I need some help to do this. We enter this space of hope and community. Let us enter this space with our sorrows, our joys, our passion and compassion. Come, let us enter this space with the stories of our ancestors, for their strength and wisdom beats in our hearts. Come into this space present to the beloved companions who move beside us. Come into this space mindful that together we are building a future for other generations. Come into this space and let us worship. So the help I need is we're going to clap our hands, and magically this chalice is going to light. So on the count of 3, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. It did it. It did it. All right. Welcome back to RE Sunday. Look at us sitting in a circle and me down here with you. We are going to shorten our worship service today so we can offer more time for RE, or religious education. Whether that's a discussion group for adults or an activity for children. If you lead a connection group or a book club or want to start an adult RE class, you have built-in time to meet on RE Sundays. We are going to try this through December and then revisit, so be thinking about that. But we still have a Wonder Box, because as your religious educator, I always hope the Wonder Box is a way to deepen our learning from one another. There are many things in life that are unknowable that will remain a mystery, but hopefully not what is in this Wonder Box. So, what do you think is in the Wonder Box today? You want to try and make a guess? I take guesses from the puzzle pieces. Any other guesses? It's fairly noisy today. Blocks. Anything else? Should we open it up? You want to open it up? All right, let's take a look inside. What are those? Can you hold them up? Okay, they're tiny. They're little shoes. I actually have a bigger one. What does that make you think of? You may not be familiar with these, but many of you know that I have Dutch heritage. My mother is from the Netherlands. And that is our theme this month. What our heritage is, what our cultural, familial, spiritual, thank you, even intellectual backgrounds and inheritances are. It's from the UU Soul Matters curriculum, and this week I emailed that packet to families called Soulful Home, and they have other packets for use like in worship right now and in small groups. So that's what I'll be sharing with you today and what you'll be able to discuss later. But first, let's see what our Wonderbox story has to say about heritage. So I have the book, and I think the slides will be projected. It's called Where Are You From? By Jamile Said Mendez, illustrated by Jaime Kim, and it's published by Harper Books. Where are you from? They ask. Is your mom from here? Is your dad from there? They ask. I'm from here, from today, same as everyone else, I say. Did you listen to the story? You want to look at pictures? I ask Abuelo because he knows everything, and like me, he looks like he doesn't belong. Where am I from? Abuelo thinks. His eyes squint like he's looking inside his heart for an answer. You come from the Pampas, the open free land, he says. You're from the gaucho, brave and strong. From the brown river that cleanses and feeds the land, that gives us the grain for our bread, the milk from the cows. You're from mountains so high they tickle Señor Cielo's belly, where the condor roosts his family and the jaguar prowls the night. But you're also from the warm blue oceans the copper warriors tried to tame, and the elegant palm trees stretched their fingers to caress. You're from hurricanes and dark storms and a tiny singing frog that calls the island people home when the sun goes to sleep. From this land where our ancestors built a home for all, even when they were in chains because of the color of their skin. You're from the grandmothers who search for their grandchildren waiting, always waiting in a plaza, their white handkerchiefs wrapping the sorrow of their thoughts. You come from the sunshine that lights our path in this world and the rain that washes away our mistakes. But abuelo, I ask, where am I really from? Abuelo laughs. You want a place? He points to his heart. You're from here, from my love and the love of all those before us, from those who dreamed of you because of a song sung under the Southern Cross, or the words in a book written under the light of the North Star. You are from all of us. I am. The end. Let me switch here. And what I like about that story, where are you from? Well, that question can be problematic. It can be what we call a microaggression, when someone looks different from the self-identified majority. Many will assume a person is from somewhere else, that they are other. It is a way of highlighting difference rather than seeking commonality. But what I like in the story is that the grandfather talks about the characteristics of a place and a people that are unique influences on a person's identity. My sister-in-law, who married into this family with Dutch relatives, she's from West Virginia, and the first time she came to the Netherlands, she was actually somewhat disturbed by how flat everything was. She was used to these canyons and very steep hillsides, and here she was like, you can just see forever, because of course it was once under the ocean. So take a moment now to think about your own family, your own ancestors, and how they lived and where they lived and how they influence you now. Is there anyone who'd like to share a bit about that? Where your family was from? From Texas? From other places? Yes? From right here? Your sisters are punching each other?
Yeah, we grew up mostly in a Swedish culture.
In a Swedish culture.
Farmers lived on the east side of town, the deep Blackland Prairie and farm.
All right.
The other side of town was the ranchers here. So we grew up with a lot of the Swedish traditions, and
Yeah.
I still really value that.
That is
we try to carry them on.
a wonderful connection.
Yeah.
Can you
Our-
share some of that, Karina?
She was,
from here?
so it was shared that here in Georgetown, deep roots through Swedish ancestors who lived on the east side over the Blackland Prairie, and that so many of those traditions are with your family still. Our sign out front says, our ancestors' dreams. And what we really wanted to put out there is, we are our ancestors' dreams. And I love that sentiment, that back in time, there were people who came before us who dreamed about who we, their descendants, would be, how we would live. I think about women who came before me, who fought hard for me to have the right to vote, for instance. And we keep having to fight. for those rights, don't we? But even though I don't know of any suffragettes in my direct family, I claim those women as my ancestors because they inspire me to do the work for peace and justice that I want to do today. So not only do we recognize people in our own families as our ancestors, but also those from the past who speak to who we want to be today. And when I think of my ancestors, about my past, my heritage, an image of a tree comes to mind. Family trees we talk about. And I think when we talk about ancestors, we often mention roots. Where are your roots? What is at the root of something? How our roots ground us. And when I think of the future, of my children, of my descendants, and future generations, I see the leaves on the tree sprouting out. And I guess I myself am the trunk of the tree? I don't know. Maintaining connection between past and future? We could take a moment to stretch like trees right now. We could pretend that we have roots. You can join me in this. And then stretch way up like a tree. Oh. Yes, and we're blowing in the wind. Yes. I love all you trees. Who's an ant here who's able to walk around? Ooh, stretching trees. That's right. Feels good. Yeah, we can be a forest. We will have time to craft some trees after service today. But I will say that my Dutch mother had dreams and still does. She was a World Federalist and was a delegate from Holland to their international conference when she was young. The World Federalists want to strengthen the United Nations, and their mission is to create more effective, transparent, and accountable global governance leading to democratic world federation. An incredible goal, and yes, that probably was a direct influence on who I am today. As I wrap up, I just want to share with you the introduction from the Soulful Home packet for this month, which was written by Teresa Honey Youngblood. Each of us carries around a mixed bag of patterns, behaviors, traits, qualities, and epigenetic signatures. This mixed bag is our heritage. We can't put the bag down, but with some intentionality, we can take some items out and put others in. Making regular work of examining and shaping our heritage is part of being a conscientious human in community. Do you know the story of the holiday ham? There's a couple different versions of this. But in short, 2 generations of cooks keep cutting the edges off of a holiday ham because that's the way they were taught to do it, only to discover that the act was first adopted to accommodate a pan that was too small to cook the ham as it was purchased. But that pan is long gone, but the practice persisted. Oh, you got to cut off those 2 ends. Heritage is like that. If we're not engaging with it regularly, we're most certainly falling into and perhaps passing on ways of being that don't really line up with who we want to be in the world. But the good news is our family, friends, and co-congregants can help us see what's in our mixed bag of heritage. And we, in turn, can help others to identify what they carry. Sometimes this looks like taking the most moving and inclusive parts of your cradle faith and integrating them into Unitarian Universalism. Sometimes it looks like gently pointing out a friend's assumption based on unexamined privilege. Sometimes it's serving on a task force to petition your city to change the name of a thoroughfare from a plantation owner to a civil rights activist. Or maybe moving a statue. Yes. Sometimes it's listening deeply to a cousin's story about interrupting a harmful pattern of parenting in your shared past, and then acknowledging the ways you've perpetuated that harm and resolving to do better now with awareness. That's another gift of heritage. Every time we mindfully engage with our heritage, we grow more accountable and more responsible to generations past, present, and future. In other words, we grow more deeply connected. This month, may we help one another be up to the task of sifting through our heritage. May we be brave in the face of what we find, and may we delight in the gifts we uncover. So let's pause here and take a moment for reflection on this, on how we, as UUs, honor our ancestors. Certainly one way is by listening and learning about one another and our families, as we do when we share joys and sorrows, joys and gratitudes, concerns. So you can settle into your seat, and we will give each other the gift of attention. Now is a time for sharing how you are feeling and what is on your heart, what joys or gratitude you want to lift up, and what pain or concern you want to ease through sharing. Let's create a circle of caring together. Is there anyone who would like to share a joy or a sorrow?
Me again.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Billy Adams, and I have two things. What I'm so excited about is that my younger daughter, Jen, lives in Alaska, and she teaches first grade at a Spanish immersion school. And I never heard of this before, but she sent me the newspaper heading last night. The U.S. Department of Education awarded 353 schools in the United States designated as blue ribbon schools. And so their Spanish immersion school in Alaska is one of those schools this year. So I'm really happy about that. The second thing is, I'm sorry, but this is just so nobody shows up at 2 o'clock on Wednesday for the Habitat team meeting. It will probably rain, and it's still too hot, and I'm team leader for Habitat, and we want to be outside, so we're going to reschedule that, so please look for a new date. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Sarah Smith. This morning my family is grieving a four-legged furry family member. So please hold my youngest son, John, in your hearts today because he's having a rough time.
I'm Bill, and like Billy, I have two things. The first is that I want to just mention, in honor of a family member, last year my sister died, and while we were on our trip this summer, we got word that her husband also died, within the two of them within 6 months of each other. So Stan Markham is my brother-in-law, a very remarkable human being. And so I give thanks for him and ask your concerns and thoughts for that family. The second is that I have a retreat brother. I'm in a group of men who retreat to the North Carolina mountains every year, and one of our men, we call ourselves brothers, but one of our men has taken an assignment with the Peace Corps to Rwanda. And of course, we are all very concerned about the instability of some of the African nations, that sort of thing. But this is Blake Gooch. And the work that he has found himself in, he's doing medical work and is very much related. I wrote him this morning and I said, I wish you were in our service because we're talking about generational things. He actually this week found himself measuring newborn African babies, measuring their height. And he measured so many of them, he hurt his hand. He hurt his wrist. But I said to him in an email, who knows? You know, you may have been handling a Nelson Mandela, future Nelson Mandela, or a Bishop Tutu, or some great female leader from the African nations. So I'd like you to join me in considering and hoping for and praying for Blake Gooch, who is a Rwandan Peace Corps volunteer.
Is it stuck? I think it's stuck. I think it hurt his finger.
Oh, the snap or something.
Did
Bless his heart.
No.
Oh, I think he hurt his. Oh. Good morning, Michelle. I am Michelle Augustine. A joy to have children amongst us.
Absolutely.
Right? And a joy to be with children. We were talking about ancestry and heritage, and yesterday I had the joy of going to a baseball game to see Grand Summit and being around the kids, and you know, they're cheering for one another. Life goes on, folks, and it's a good thing. I do have a concern, and my t-shirt says what that concern is today. What is going on in our nation to control books and school education. And I hope that you'll pray with me as we want to try to boot the voucher here in Texas at the rally next Saturday. Anyone else?
Any other joy, concern to share? All right.
We come together to witness and support one another through difficult times, the loss of family pets. We take a deep breath and we celebrate together in the accomplishments of our loved ones, and we work hard together to help create the better world we dream of, the beloved community we want to share. Let's take another deep breath. May this circle of caring support you, the connections we have to one another and to that which holds us all. Amen and blessed be. So as a meditation on those joys and sorrows we just heard, we will now sing number 318, We Would Be One. It's in the gray hymnal, but again, the words will be projected, and we can remain seated for this.
Our hymn of
We take an offering each week to sustain this space we call home and to support the work of our fellowship. If this is your first time here, please feel free to let the plate pass you by. Your presence this morning is a wonderful gift in and of itself. Thank you for coming. And if you've filled out a visitor card, you can put that in the plate. For our offertory music, Jackie and Joe are bringing us a window from the past, to the past, from the Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban movie. The offering will now be gratefully received, and we thank you. Thank you, Joe and Jackie. All right, let me see if I can find my magical thing again. Yes. We close our sacred time together when we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the chalice inside of our hearts, which serves as a beacon of hope. Emboldened by its blaze, we are reminded that our strength as prophetic and powerful people is found when we come together at San Gabriel, which is here in Georgetown to stay, no matter what may come our way. So now we have to clap again to make this go off. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Kinda, sorta. So we have some tables set up at the back. I have discussion questions about the theme of heritage. If you would like to get a cup of coffee and then meet with some friends about that, you'll have some guidance, some quotes to think further on that. And we have a table where we'll be making lots of different types of trees and family trees. And we can make a tree together. All right. You want to come make a tree? You must get coffee. All right, let's get coffee.